Hello traders, and welcome to another exciting edition of our weekly XAUSD and GBPUSD trade analysis. Okay, so I'm excited to be here with you as we dive into the dynamic world of Forex trading. So in today's video, we'll be dissecting the price action for XAUSD and GBPUSD, identifying key and potential levels on the charts, and discussing potential strategies for the week ahead. Okay, welcome back to our weekly forecast for this week. Remember, we always do a top-down analysis just to know what we should expect for the coming week. So right here on my screen is GBP USD on a daily time frame. Remember, for last week we were expecting price to move upward to the current resistance zone where it is, and it actually did just like we expected. So for this week, as you can see on my screen, there are key zones that have been marked out that we will be paying close attention to with regards to the coming week. So one of the zones is this resistance zone here. So as you can see, these are the few zones we've marked out. This is a very key resistance zone that we need to pay close attention to. This is also a zone we need to pay close attention to, just like this one. As you can see, price went down from this zone right here, and then it has come back to retest it. So we'll be paying close attention to this zone. This is also a support zone that we need to pay close attention to. As you can see here, price has retested it here, also retested it here, and including this point before breaking out. So we are still paying close attention to this zone as it's still valid. We are still going to be paying very much attention to this support zone right here. So for next week on GBPUSD on the daily time frame, as you can see on my screen, that price has come back to retest this resistance zone right here. So for next week, we'll be expecting a drop from its current position. We'll be expecting price to drop from its current position to this support zone, or even below this support zone right here. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue upward, depending on the opening of the market, we'll be expecting price to move upward to respect this zone, or even break above it to this zone right here. So I'll just extend this right here. So we're expecting price to move downward to respect this support zone right here, or even break below it to the next support zone on the daily time frame. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue upward, just like we always say, we're expecting price to respect this resistance zone right here, or possibly break out of it to the next resistance zone, guys. So generally on the daily time frame for GBPUSD, we're expecting price to move downward from its current position where it is to respect this zone, or even break out of the zone to the next zone. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue upward, we're expecting price to respect this resistance zone right here, or even move to the next resistance zone above. So we are going to move down to the 4-hour time frame to see some key zones we need to look out for, guys. So right here on the 4-hour time frame, as you can see, we are looking at some vivid zones that price has been respecting for a while. Remember, these are key zones that we drew on the daily time frame, and as you can see, they are very valid right here, as you can see. So for GBPUSD on the 4-hour time frame, we're expecting price to respect this resistance zone and drop. So we're expecting a downward movement of price to either respect this zone or break out of the zone to this support zone. So, but on the flip side, if price decides to continue upward, we're expecting price to respect this resistance zone, or even continue to the next resistance zone before there's going to be any drop. So I'm just going to draw that real quick so we don't get confused, guys. So we're expecting a drop from GBPUSD to respect this resistance zone, this support zone rather. We're expecting a drop from GBPUSD to respect this support zone, or even break out of the support zone to the next support zone, which is just below it, guys. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue upward from where it is, from the current position, so we're expecting price to respect this resistance zone, or probably break out of it to the next resistance zone above. So generally on the 4-hour time frame for GBPUSD, we're just going to be expecting a drop from the current position down to respect this support zone, or even break out of the support zone, guys, to the next support zone just below. But on the flip side, if it decides to continue upward, we're expecting it to respect this resistance before continuing to the next resistance just above. So guys, let's move on to the 4 hours time frame quickly. So let's also look out for some key zones that we need to be, careful and pay close attention for next week, guys. Alright, so I'm just going to be zooming in on the 1 hour time frame. So this is what the 1 hour time frame for GBP USD looks like. The zones that we marked out on the daily and the 4 hour time frame are still very valid and visible, as you can see, guys. So as you can see right here, this is a very valid resistance zone. This is also a resistance zone that is also valid on the 1 hour time frame, which was also valid on the other time frames. So guys, this is another zone that we're looking for, which is the current position of price. So as you can see, this is a valid support zone that we're also expecting price to come back, to retest for next week. So I'm just going to extend this. From the current position of prices, we're expecting price to drop from where it is down to any of the support zones, or even below to the next support zone. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue upward, we're going to be expecting price, to continue upward to respect the resistance zone right here, or even break out of the resistance zone to the next resistance zone just above city. So generally on the 1 hour time frame, or generally on the weekly forecast, we'll be expecting GBPUSD to drop to the support zone below. But on the flip side, if price, depending on the opening price on Monday, we'll be expecting a movement to respect this resistance zone, or possibly break out of it to the next resistance zone just above. So guys, that will be all for GBPUSD. So let's just move over to XAU to also see some key zones we need to pay attention to. This is XAU USD on a daily time frame. As you can see on my screen right here, there are some key zones that we've marked out that we need to pay attention for as regards to the opening price of the market on Monday next week. So right here, guys, I have here a key resistance zone which price just retested last week, and I also have a support zone which has been holding for a while. So for XAU USD on a daily time frame, we'll be expecting price to drop since it has retested a key resistance zone. So let's move on to the 4 hours time frame. So guys, from this point, we'll be expecting a drop from XAU USD to respect this previous resistance zone, thereby turning it into a support before continuing upward, or probably a breakout of this newly formed support to the next support zone below. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue upward from its current position, we'll be expecting price to move to break out of this resistance zone, give us a retest, and then continue upward, guys. So guys, this is XAUSD on the 4 hours time frame. Remember, we always do a top-down analysis so we can get a clearer picture of what we are to expect for the coming week. Guys, as you can see, this was a valid resistance zone for which price broke out from and retested to turn it into a support. This was a valid resistance that price also turned into a support. So guys, for next week, we'll be expecting a drop from price to respect this support zone before continuing upward, or probably break out of this support zone to the next support zone, or even the one below, which is right here. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue upward based on its current trend, we are going to be expecting a breakout of this resistance zone right here, a retest of it, and then a continuation to the upside. From this zone, we are going to be expecting a drop to respect this resistance, this support zone, or probably a breakout of the support zone to continue to the next support zone, or even the one below it. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue upward from its current position, we are going to be expecting a breakout and then a retest of this resistance zone, which turns it into a support, and then a continuation to the upside. So guys, let's move on to the 1 hour time frame so we can get a clearer picture of some other visible zones we are missing out on the higher time frames. So guys, with me here is the 1 hour time frame, 1 hour time frame on XAUSD. So guys, we are expecting a drop from its current position to this position, but possibly a breakout of this position to continue downward, guys. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue upward, we are going to be expecting price to break out of this resistance zone, give us a retest, and then continue upward. Mind you, there are there's another resistance zone that we need to look out for that I'm going to mark out real quick. This is also a key resistance zone which is very visible on the 1 hour time frame, guys. This is also a valid resistance zone that we can expect price to retest from before continuing upward. So generally, guys, for XAUSD, we are going to be expecting a drop from XAUSD, but if it breaks out to the support, we are going to be expecting continuation to the downside. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue upward, we are going to be expecting price to break out of this very valid resistance zone, give us a retest, and then continue upward. So that will be all for XAUSD, guys. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of our weekly forecast. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also turn on the notification so as to get notified whenever we post our weekly forecast. And also guys, please don't forget to join us on our weekly webinars which are hosted every Wednesdays. You can check through the description of this video to get the link to our Telegram channel. Please don't miss out on the webinars. It's always educative, always captivating, and we share insights on forex trading as a whole. Please join us. Much love from 15xFX. See you next week, same time, same station. GMGM, guys.